on the practice field.
Yeah, our guys do a great job. I mean, they're in the building all the time, doing extra work, watching film, getting ready for our next opponent. Like I said, the result we got from Saturday wasn't what anybody wanted, but again, it's a long season. We're excited. We're still confident, in ourselves as coaches and players, and like I said, we're looking forward to a better outcome this Saturday.
Good. You hear that teams make their most improvement between game 1 and game 2. Do you see some truth in that?
No doubt. I mean, I think that's no matter if you win or lose. I think that's the case every season. Every season I've been involved as a football coach, you usually do make your best games between games 1 and 2, 2 and 3. Towards the beginning of the season.
Right.
Our guys, they've done since the off season, and they've learned a new offense, defensive system. We kind of got a good feel this Saturday, what we can do, with our group of players, and like I said, I think they'll respond, the rest of the season, and hopefully this weekend.
Did you guys, as coaches, learn a lot more about the players, once they were out there under the lights for the first time?
No doubt. We learned some good things, we learned some bad things, but it was good to finally get live competition. Again, we implemented our new, offensive, defensive, and special team systems, and like I said, we're ready to roll. Like I said, it was a disappointing outcome, but we're ready to put that behind us, and like I said, we're really excited about our season and what's to come.
Let's talk about the offense in general, and then we'll talk about your position, the running backs. But the offense put up some really good numbers. I mean, 500-plus yards total offense in the game, 45 points. On a lot of games, a lot of occasions, that's enough to win a ball game.
Well, it wasn't enough. I felt, as a coaching staff and evaluating our players, we left some points and some yards, out there on the field. I thought, we could have, really done more, to help our team win. So that was disappointing. But we also did some good things, and we're just going to keep working. And as coaching staff, we're going to try to put our players in the best position to be successful. Each and every week, and I think they're going to respond this week. And like I said, we're going to go out and have a great game.
This is more on the defensive side, specifically the secondary, but man, really banged up last week. That was a real factor. Not looking for excuses at all, but there were some guys. Well, in the secondary, you had 0 starts among the 4 starters last week.
Yes, sir. I mean, it was unfortunate. 2 of our corners, ended up getting, hurt. A couple days before, days before the game, and there were some young guys who stepped in and played for the first time, and I'm sure they're going to keep getting better each and every week. Not to speak for Coach Rhule or Coach Snow, our defense coordinator. Again, it's a young group, and like I said, our defensive group have really had a good couple of practices this week, so I'm excited to see them play this week.
Great. Let's talk about your guys, the running back position. Talk about injuries. You lost JaMycal Hasty in that game. What's the prognosis for him?
JaMycal, he's probably going to end up being out for a couple of weeks. It's not a season-ending injury. I think he was just starting to get warmed up, just starting to come on. Just had a nice touchdown run, in the second quarter, and I'm expecting big things from him this year. But as I've said, we're fortunate we have some depth at the position. Terrence Williams hopefully will be back in a couple weeks. And then our freshmen who have joined our team have stepped up and done a nice job.
Let's talk about those freshmen because they're going to be, your top 3 running backs this week, right, are true freshmen.
Yes, sir. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing them play.
Right.
I don't consider them freshmen anymore. They've been here since training camp, and like I said, we've been hard on them and trying to sharpen them and get them ready to play. And John Lovett, last week, he performed, well, and he's going to have to step his game up even more this week. You're going to see Tristan Ebner out there, and Drew Dixon, he had 1 carry last week, had a nice kickoff return. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see all 3 of those guys out there, along with, a couple of guys who have been here, Wyatt Shreffner and Obem Okiki, they could also step in and help us. This Saturday.
Good. So some people might be saying, in your position, they might say, woe is me. Here's no JaMycal Hasty. Terrence Williams isn't ready yet. All we have are these true freshmen. But I get the sense that you're excited about that with these guys.
No, I mean, they were our freshmen. They were highly recruited, and they've done a nice job, since they've gotten here of learning our offensive system, getting their bodies ready to play. And now I feel confident that, again, we're going to put them in position to be successful.
John Lovett, let's talk about him a little bit. I'm guessing he'll be the starter for you at running back, and he had a terrific game, couple of touchdown runs, and just didn't look like a freshman at all out there.
No, he was like I said, it didn't really surprise me. He was a big-time recruit for us. A kid who was a national recruit, so I expected big things from him and really expected him to play, during his freshman year. And, he had a good game. And, like I said, I just hope his progress continues to improve, which I think it will. And, like I say, he's going to really have to step his game up this week. We got a really good UTSA defense coming, here to Waco. And, like I said, John's going to have to really step up and play well for us in the run game and in the pass game.
Yeah, he wears number 7, and we had Taylor Young on here with us last week, and we told a story about earning those single-digit numbers. Right. Here's a true freshman that comes in and earns, by the respect of his teammates, a single-digit number. That speaks volumes about him, doesn't it?
No doubt. It's tough to get a single-digit number here at Baylor. That he was voted by his teammates and coaches as one of the 9 toughest players. And so he earned the number 7, throughout his, throughout training camp, with his play, with his work ethic off the field, and like I said, I'm expecting big things from him, and expect him to continue to improve throughout the year.
So tell us about Treston Ebner. He's another of those true freshmen.
Yes, Treston from Henderson, Texas. Originally we recruited him as a wide receiver. He played running back early in his career in high school with Terrence, a little banged up. And Abram Smith, who unfortunately, tore his ACL in the spring. We needed someone to play the running back position, and Tristan was more than willing. Was happy to move to the position and has really done well. He played last week on some special teams. He'll play more this week. You'll see him in there, and like I said, I'm expecting him to step up and have a good game.
Good. And then Drew Dixon, really interesting story. I mean, he's a walk-on, just kind of came along with another guy, visited Baylor, and here he is, and he's going to have a chance to play, isn't he?
Yeah, Drew, he was at Air Force Academy last year and, kind of visited with one of his friends, kind of visited Baylor. And, we were fortunate he decided he liked the school on his visit, by chance. And, he walked on our team and immediately, during training camp, he made his presence felt, running the football, blocking. He's a bigger, more physical, type running back. And, had a really good kickoff return last year and had last game and had one carry in a short yardage situation. So you'll see him out there as well.
That'll be fun. He's really turned heads during fall camp. I mean, barreling over guys.
It's nice to have a 230, 235
right.
Pound running back who can pound people in between the tackles.
Pretty nice. All right, good. All right, we're off and running. We'll take a break. Coach Jeff Nixon is with us later in the hour. Quarterback Anu Solomon will join us, so we're glad you're with us, listening or watching to the Baylor Coaches Show. We're live at Rudy's on this Thursday evening. We'll be right back after this. From Rudy's on the Circle in Waco, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Our Baylor Coaches Show, and we're pleased to have Coach Jeff Nixon with us, Baylor's co-offensive coordinator and running backs coach. And you can ask Coach a question. The text in line presented by First Place Foods is 71855. Text 71855. Use the keyword coach and then ask your question, but start with Coach. So do that right now and text in a question, and we'll get it to Coach Nixon, and maybe we'll ask yours on the air. So text Coach and your question to 71855. It's brought to you by First Place Foods, Hunn's Private Stock Pickles. That's darn good pickle. I think we have Hunn's Pickles here, don't we, at Rudy's? They should be. So we appreciate that. Thanks for them and for Coach Nixon being here tonight. Let's talk about your background a little bit. Sort of interesting. Folks may or may not know you and Coach Rhule have known each other for a long, long time, haven't you?
A long time. We were high school teammates, and he was my college roommate at Penn State. So I pretty much know everything about him. He knows everything about me. And, we coached together in Temple in 2006. And then, we've been apart the last 10 years, but, it's good to be good to be back together with him.
Did you always think in the back of your mind that you guys would be back coaching together at some point?
No doubt. I mean, I knew, he was going to put himself in the position to be a head coach. I could tell early in our coaching careers, he was on that path to be a head coach.
Right.
And, I've always wanted to be, an offensive coordinator. And like I said, I'm just fortunate enough to, have an opportunity to be here at Baylor and, coaching alongside one of my best friends.
That's great. So you started you played together at State College in State College, Pennsylvania, and then you went off to West Virginia. You were actually a running back at West Virginia for a couple of years.
Yes, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and West Virginia is about 45 minutes away from there.
Okay.
And I always kind of grew up a Pittsburgh and West Virginia fan before moving to State College in high school. So I was fortunate enough. I played for Coach Nealon at West Virginia University for 2 years before transferring back home to Penn State, and got a chance to play with for Coach Paterno and his legendary coaching staff, and it's done wonders for my coaching career.
Wow. So you finished up at Penn State.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And here we come to Baylor, and lo and behold, West Virginia's a conference opponent. We'll see them every year.
There's no doubt. Looking forward to playing against them. Still know quite a few people there who are still there. With the Mountaineer program, and definitely looking forward to playing them.
All right, and coaching stops along the way for you. Graduate assistant at Penn State, and then was it Shippensburg after that?
I went to Princeton for 1 year.
Princeton, that's right.
And I was at Shippensburg for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Got a chance to coach under legendary coach Rocky Reese. Went to Chattanooga, Tennessee, Chattanooga, for 3 years, and then went back to Pennsylvania, at Temple for a year, and then been in the NFL the last 10 years with the Eagles, Dolphins, and 49ers.
Gotcha. I want to talk about that NFL experience, but back to Shippensburg. Jerry Hill reminds me that you coached or y'all ran the wing T offense there, huh?
Oh, it was a great offensive system, and I was fortunate I had John Kuhn, so he was our fullback. He set all sorts of records, and it's amazing he's still playing in the NFL.
Wow.
Going into like his 13th, 14th season.
Wow, how about that?
But it was a really good experience coaching Shippensburg, learning the wing T offense.
How many Shippensburg alums are there in the NFL? Is he the only one? Or?
Actually, we had John Kuhn and Brent Grimes.
Oh, okay.
The All-Pro corner for Atlanta. I think he plays at Tampa Bay now. They both played on the same team.
Wow.
And came in the same class. So
right.
we kind of hit it big with those two guys.
I'd say
playing
so.
At Shippensburg.
Very good. And then you mentioned the last decade, last 10 years in the NFL, the Eagles, the Dolphins, and last year with the 49ers. What's that, as a coach, can you capsulize me? What are the differences coaching in the pros compared to coaching college?
It's funny, Coach Rhule and I talk all the time, and I don't think there really is that much of a difference. In the NFL, a lot of the guys are under 25. The NFL, the guys usually have short careers. They usually last 3 to 4 years. And I was fortunate enough, to coach in that league for 10 years and, develop a lot of good relationships with coaches and players. But really isn't all that much different as far as, coaching the players.
Good. When Coach Rhule got this Baylor job, I'm guessing you were one of the first calls he made. Was it a tough decision for you to come to Baylor, not just Baylor, but back to college and leave the NFL?
It was a tough decision because I enjoyed my time in the NFL, and like I said, I really liked working for the head coaches I was associated with, and just being around NFL type players. But I've always considered myself. I always wanted to be in the collegiate ranks. Kind of just happened that I got in the NFL. But growing up in State College and being around Coach Paterno and living in the same town as Penn State, I always consider myself to be a collegiate coach, and I'm very blessed and fortunate to be at a place like Baylor and playing in the Big 12 conference, and like I said, doing it with one of my good friends.
That's neat. You guys who have been through Penn State, played there or coached there, you and Coach Rhule and Brian Norwood. I don't know if you knew Brian.
Yes.
He coached there for a while.
Really good friends with Brian.
But always talk about Coach Paterno with just such great reverence. That must have been just a great experience to coach with him.
Oh, there's no doubt. Like I said, I grew up with his kids. Went to the same high school. Obviously, he's a hero of mine. Someone I really look up to. Someone who wasn't only a great coach, but just a great person and mentor to me, throughout my coaching career.
Good. All right, we've got UTSA coming in this week. Let's look at them just a little bit.
Okay.
You have said, obviously, you're an offensive side of the ball coach, running backs coach. Look at their defense. You said they're going to blitz like crazy, huh?
They get after. They have a solid defense. A lot of good players. I really like the way they play on film. I mean, they play hard. They run to the football. They're going to try to put pressure on the quarterback. Have a lot of different defensive schemes. So we're going to have our hands full this week. Our guys are preparing hard, studying film. But they really had a good defense last year.
That big old defensive end, you know where he is, right?
There's no doubt. 6'7", 255. You can't miss him. Number 93, he really makes a lot of plays. You can see he has NFL-type talent, without a doubt. So we got to make sure we do a great job with him. With not only with our tackles, but with our running backs, with our quarterback, and we got to know where he's at on the field at all times.
Frank Wilson's the head coach there, and he's been there a couple of years, which is probably good when you want to look at tape because they haven't played yet this year. They had their first game of the year postponed, and now it's been canceled. So is that troublesome at all, not having a game tape to look at from this year?
Not really. I mean, we just like all college teams, we study their film from last year.
Right.
Now, it probably would have helped to have one game to see if they're doing anything new. But for me, football's football. Everyone almost has the same sort of schemes.
Yeah.
It's just going to be about going out there, playing tough, playing hard, and executing the game plan, on that particular Saturday.
Very good. Nice to be home again, right? First two games at home.
No doubt.
What'd you think of McLean Stadium, your first game there?
Oh, it was great. It was a great atmosphere. You could barely hear in the first half. So it was exciting, and the fans were into it. And like I said, my first experience there. Obviously, it was a disappointing outcome, but
right.
It was an exciting game, to be a part of.
That's great. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, some of your questions, our text-in questions, and those here at Rudy's have been able to ask some questions as well. So we'll have that when we come back. We're with Coach Jeff Nixon. This is the Baylor Coaches Show. We're live at Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Thanks to Nick Rodriguez. Nick, appreciate you. Give him a hand, our host here at Rudy's. Appreciate you very much. Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. We'll take a break and be right back. The third. All right, we've had some folks text in some questions. The text line again is 71855. It's brought to you by First Place Foods. That's a darn good pickle. And Coach, here's a couple of questions that we have. One texted in and one from Steve here at Rudy's tonight. Your thoughts on Ish Wainwright at tight end and his progress? I know that's not your position, but you're out there and you see him. How do you think Ish has adapted from basketball to football?
He's done an excellent job. He joined our football program about halfway through spring. There's a big learning curve, but he's done a tremendous job. And we've asked a lot of him learning, both our Y and our A position and learning the wide receiver position. Very smart. Really studies the game of football, and he's just made tremendous progress. And I think he will have an opportunity. At the end of the season, hopefully, play on, in the NFL. That's
great. I asked him at one point, I said, or we were talking about there's basketball shape and there's football shape. And he said, yeah, and I'm not in football shape yet. So, those are great athletes on the basketball floor, but it is different when you're on the football field.
Oh, it's no doubt. You're playing out. First of all, you're playing outside in the heat.
Yeah.
Our practices are probably a little bit longer. You got pads on. So it's been 4 or 5 years since he played football. But again, he's done a nice job, and he's going to continue to improve during the season, and we're going to be able to use him more and more as we go along.
That's good. So Rico Gathers played basketball here, and then was drafted by the Cowboys. He's with the Cowboys now as a tight end. Do you see, you think of Antonio Gates and some guys in the past, do you see basketball players being able to make that transition? Is that being more and more common?
It's going to be a big trend in the NFL. If you look at college football now, especially with a lot of the spread offenses, there's really not a lot of, true 6'5", 250-pound tight end. So, a lot of basketball players are starting to make that transition. In basketball, 6'5", 240 is probably average size, as compared to some of the NBA players at the forward position and at the guard position, whereas in football there aren't too many 6'5", 250-pound guys, who can run and who have good ball skills, like Ish and Rico.
Yeah.
So I see that trend continuing to happen and develop over the next 5 years.
All right, very good. Good question. Appreciate that. Here's another one. Steve Van Wagner's right up here in front, and he asked about the average weight of your offensive lineman. Again, this is not your position, but on the offense, Coach Rhule really likes not the huge guys. He likes, for an offensive lineman, sort of compact guys.
Yeah, we want guys who can move, who are athletic, who have good feet. I'd probably say the average weight of our offensive lineman probably somewhere right around 300. We have a true freshman center, Ryan Miller. He's probably the smallest guy we have on the line, him and Sam Tecklenburg. But if you count 290, 295 is small.
Right.
They're probably the smallest guys. I'd probably say we probably average around 300, 305 on the offensive line.
That's funny because, they're right around 300. They don't look like it, though. They
don't look like
they're
it.
in great shape.
Not at all. But, again, we like athletic guys, who can inside zone block, outside zone block, who can pull and get out on the perimeter and also have good feet where, they can vertical set and pass protect and protect our quarterbacks.
Remember a few years ago, it's been a lot of years ago now, the first 300-pounders we ever had at Baylor as offensive linemen, John Turnpaul and Monty Jones, and they were guards. Both those guys were guards, and they were like in the circus sideshow because, whoa, they're 300 pounds, and they were not in the kind of shape that these guys are. Nothing against them, but these guys can be 300 and carry it really, really well.
There's no doubt. We have a great strength department. Those guys lift and work out, and they put on good weight, and they're in really good shape, and like I said, really athletic.
All right, here's one more question for you. It's from Steve also. How many starters are freshmen? So this past week, I think you had 4 true freshman starters. Is that right?
4. We had Ryan Miller.
Right. At center.
At center.
Yep.
Talking about offense and defense?
I think so, yeah. Just total. Harrison Hand on defense.
Harrison Hand on defense.
Ryan Miller. Taylor, who are we missing?
Jalen Petrie,
linebacker, right. And there was one more. True freshman starters this past week. 3 or 4? Yeah, we said Harrison, Jalen Petrie, Ryan Miller. Oh, there's 3. Okay. So 3 true freshman starters this past week. 11 true freshmen played.
I know a lot of guys played.
Yeah, yes. 11. And Coach said earlier this week as many as 5 more true freshmen could play this week.
Yeah, we're a young team.
That's a bunch.
We're a young team. I think our first recruiting class, like I said, we surprised some people. We had some really quality student athletes, who joined our program in a short period of time. And like I said, they've come in and done a nice job. And like I said, we're going to put the best student athletes out there on the field, whether they're freshmen or seniors. And, if they earn their position, and we've had some young guys step up and done a nice job on both sides of the ball.
That really says a lot about how well y'all recruited. You got the late start, came in December, second week of December, and signed a full class in February. And look at these guys, how strong that class is and how ready they are to step in and play.
It was a lot of hard work. We're fortunate. Coach Rhule hired a great staff, and obviously he's a great recruiter in himself. But I think, hiring Coach McGuire from Cedar Hill and Coach Wetzel from Reagan High School in San Antonio and Coach Bell from Cedar Ridge High School really helped and boosted our recruiting right away this year.
Boy, it was great. Well, appreciate you being here. Thanks very much, and good luck this week against UTSA, and we're looking forward to it, and just appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach Jeff Nixon with us, Baylor's co-offensive coordinator and running backs coach with us tonight. All right, stay with us. When we come back, we'll have our injury report. We'll have our Scholar Athlete of the Week, and then the following segment, Baylor quarterback Anu Solomon will join us. So stay tuned. More to come live from Rudy's on the Baylor Coaches Show. Point of our show tonight, bottom of the hour. Glad you're with us. Our Baylor Coaches Show. We'll let you know next week Coach Phil Snow will be with us, Baylor's defensive coordinator. So we look forward to that. Coach Phil Snow next week on the Baylor Coaches Show. Right now it's time for our Scholar Athlete of the Week. We'll do this each week thanks to recommendations from the coaches and from Student Athlete Academic Services. We'll spotlight someone who is doing very well in the classroom. And our first one is Blake Blackmar, an offensive lineman for the Bears, has a 3.64 grade point average. He is a supply chain management major. So what does that mean? We need Blake here to ask him. I don't know what that means. Supply chain management major. He'll graduate in the spring of 2018 with a Bachelor of Business degree, but a very healthy 3.64 grade point average for Blake Blackmar, supply chain management major, and he is our Scholar Athlete for this week. Those offensive linemen, as we go through this list over the course of the year, you'll see that those offensive linemen more than hold their own in the classroom, and smart guys in that offensive line. Smart guys all around, but in that offensive line, they are very, very good in the classroom as well. So that is our Scholar Athlete for tonight. I want to give you our injury report. It's brought to you by Southwest Sports Medicine, the official team doctors for Baylor Athletics, and a couple of injuries that are, well, one from the game on Saturday is K.J. Smith, defensive lineman, has shin splints. He will be out for this game this week against UTSA. And then from practice earlier this week, we were talking about Ish Wainwright at tight end. The number one tight end is Jordan Furbacher, and he broke a bone in his hand in practice on Tuesday. So Furbacher is out. We're not sure how long. He's got a big old club on his hand, and Mike can play with that, but for a tight end trying to catch the ball, that might be difficult. But those two are out. Really, on the injury side, it's more good news than bad news because some guys are coming back. Jamison Houston had an head injury last week and missed the game against Liberty, and Baylor really missed his experience in that secondary, but he's been practicing, and he is back, so that's good. Jamison Houston back. Henry Black is closer to 100% and back in the secondary as well. So that's a brief look at our injury reports brought to you by Southwest Sports Medicine, the official team doctors for Baylor Athletics. All right, we'll take another break here, and as we move into the second half hour of our show, look who's coming up to the stage. Baylor senior quarterback Anu Solomon is with us. He'll join us when we come back. Stay with us. The Baylor Coaches Show rolls on from Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. Mike and Baylor Coaches Show. Appreciate Coach Jeff Nixon, who was here the first half hour. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome Baylor senior quarterback Anu Solomon to the stage. Welcome to you.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much. So first game under your belt here at Baylor. You had, bottom line is you guys didn't get the victory, but you had some good numbers. You played well. The offense put up some good numbers also. How'd you feel coming out of that game?
Felt good. Obviously, we didn't get the win, and that bothers me. That's my first priority, just going into the game. I'm leading this team, and what I want to do, I want to get a win. No matter how we do it, and that's my mentality going into every game.
Good. Was it good to get back on the field in a game? Training camp was long and hard this year. Was it fun to get out there?
Oh, of course, I miss it. It's been a while since I've been on the field. Yesterday, it marks a year since I've been on the field when I got hurt.
Wow, is that right?
Yeah, so it was kind of an emotional kind of day for me. So I miss it. Glad to be back and just have fun on the field.
I think folks know you played at Arizona, transferred here to Baylor. What was it? How did that process all come about that you ended up here?
Well, obviously, it was a tough process of just leaving Arizona because Coach Rich Rod, we had a great relationship. They did recruit me, so it was tough leaving. But all of a sudden, Baylor just popped up. Coach Rhule, Sean Bell did a great job at just recruiting me and just selling off of what Baylor had to offer for me. And it's too good to pass up.
Yeah, great. Well, we're glad you're here. And it was really good competition, wasn't it, between you and Zach, and then even Charlie Brewer, the freshman.
Of course.
Really good competition between you guys.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what I love. Back in Arizona, I had a competition every year. You know, a spot. I mean, your job is not safe. Not every job is guaranteed, and that's how I like it. You know, it always keeps you on your toes, and yeah, it challenges you to get better.
Gotcha. How much you were here, went through spring practice, you're learning this new offense, you know, everything's new for pretty much everybody, but especially for you. How much did that help going through spring and then being here all summer, and then when you hit fall camp, how'd you feel at that point?
It helped a lot, just grinding in those after hours of studying with Zach and Charlie and all of the other receivers. You know, it's something new that we're not used to, and taking of what Baylor used to do and mixing it up with what Coach Rhule did at Temple as well.
Give us a brief look inside the playbook. What's this offensive playbook look like?
For me, I mean, I feel very comfortable with it.
Right.
We will go pound for pound. We will go tempo if we want to. You know, Coach Rhule does a great job of just not fading away of what Baylor used to do, and mixing it up with pound for pound football as well.
Good. You don't mind that, right? If you
No,
need to go
not at
tempo,
all.
you can do that.
Of course.
You showed a great propensity for running the ball well. I mean, especially late in the game, you had some good runs. I mean, that's a big part of your game, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was shocked. You know, I mean, that was
Wait,
that
you
was
shocked
the longest.
yourself?
Of course, that was the longest I ever had run.
Really?
You know, and, yeah, and I was told I did run 19 miles per hour. So I mean,
Hey, very good.
that's kind of shocking for me as well.
That's impressive. But I mean, how would you rate yourself? You know, as far as a dual threat passer and runner.
Dual threat, yeah. I'm more of a pass first type of guy, and if it's fourth and 3 and we're losing and we really need a first down, yes, I'll get it. I will use my legs.
Good. So Baylor and UTSA this week. It's the first time Baylor's ever played UTSA in football, but this guy has played UTSA twice. When you were at Arizona, you played them twice. What do you remember about those games?
You know, they're a great team. They're fundamentally sound. There's just guys that just will get after you every play. They're always hungry, and you know, they did leave marks on me. I mean, they hit me every play. So
Really?
yeah, so that's my memory of them.
But you got 2 wins over them, right?
Yes.
And they'll probably remember you a little bit.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they'll get after me.
Coach Nixon was saying that they're not shy about blitzing, that they're going to be in your face all night.
Of course. So what we need to do is just recognize the blitzes and get the protections right as well.
Good deal. You got some your running backs will be all freshmen this week. Jermichael is out with a knee injury. But what do you think about those freshmen, especially John Lovett, how they performed last week?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, they're all dogs. They're all talented young men. And I was truly amazed of how they, you know, responded into being thrown into fire. Lovett, and you can see Dixon with that kickoff return run where he just runs over people. And we really didn't show you guys anything about Tristan, but you know, that guy can play as well.
Yeah, we'll probably see him this week, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Those freshmen overall, what do you think? So your center is a true freshman, Ryan Miller. Some really talented guys to step in as true freshmen and play like that.
Yeah. It truly amazed me how he responded as well. I mean, with this offense, I mean, being a center, you need to know every call. I mean, if you mess up once, I'm getting hit. So, I mean, for him to just sit down and call out the blitzes and recognizing the fronts, you know, I was amazed.
Wow. That's great. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment. You are, Anu, are you native Hawaiian?
Yes.
All right, native Hawaiian.
Mixed with a lot of things.
With a lot of things, okay. But Anu is a much shorter version of his full name. So we'll play, and I'll try to learn his full name and let him say if I'm close when we come back, all right? So stay tuned for that. Anu Solomon is with us tonight, live from Rudy's on the Baylor Coaches Show, and we'll be right back after this. Live from Rudy's on our Baylor Coaches Show. Glad you're with us this evening. We're with Baylor quarterback Anu Solomon. And appreciate everyone that is here watching, listening on our show this week. All right, so Anu, much shorter version of your whole name. I'm going to give it a shot here, okay? Here it is on this card. So take up the whole card, and that's not even the whole name. So stop me when I mess up. Jarrett Pikello. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Kahanu Ola Okalani.
There we go.
Hey! All right. Solomon Jr. Kahanu Ola Okalani. So at some point in a game broadcast soon, that whole thing's going to come spilling out of my mouth. And I hope all the syllables are in the right order.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks. I heard from the Arizona guys. Brian Jeffries does play-by-play.
Oh,
they had fun with your name,
great
too.
guy, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he attempted my name.
Really?
Yeah.
He never I'm going to attempt it. But he said they had fun with it also. All right. Kahanu Ola Okalani.
Yes.
Solomon Jr.
Yes.
All right. So is your dad Kahanu Ola Okalani Sr.?
Yes.
Yeah. Sort of. All right. Very good. So the Anu, there's Kahanu in there. Is that where the Anu comes from?
That's where the Anu.
In that part?
Yeah. I mean, I was a bad kid growing up, so I used to get in trouble a lot. So my aunties all around me, they wouldn't say, Kahanu Okalani, come here. They would just say, you know what, Kahanu, come here, or Anu, come here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So a shorter version, or a little bit longer version from Anu is
Kahanu or Kahanu. Yes.
Kahanu or Kahanu Ola.
Kahanu Ola, yeah.
All right, lots of variations
You'll get there, yeah. You'll get there. You'll get there.
All right, I'm going to keep working on it. I appreciate it. Thanks for your help there. What was that like growing up in Hawaii? What's your earliest recollections of playing football?
Man, I miss it. In Hawaii, they put more importance of the physical aspect of the game. Rather than, you come to the mainland and you see a bunch of speed. There's more smash mouth football over there, and, I loved it. It actually toughened me out. Mm. And what my parents did was, I have 5 brothers. I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. I am the oldest of 5. I am the oldest of 7, and she's the youngest. Wow. Yeah, imagine that. So what they did was the second one and the third one, what they did, they sent them over to Hawaii just to toughen them out.
Oh, wow, yeah. Really? Have you always been a quarterback, or did you play any other positions?
No, I actually played defense. Did you? I was more of a linebacker because my dad played linebacker in college and high school. Played some strong safety, free safety, and I actually miss it. And my Pop Warner team, there was a need of a quarterback, and we did tryouts, and unfortunately, I threw the farthest. So
you're the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. You're the quarterback. All right.
Where did your dad play college?
He played at San Jose State. Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
Yes.
Very good. And are you a surfer? Is everybody that grows up in Hawaii a surfer?
Surfer. I'm more of a body surfer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll surf here and there.
Gotcha. And do you miss that?
Oh, I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss the water so much.
Yeah. Is your family still in Hawaii or not?
Majority of my family, and my immediate family, and my mother's mother is in Vegas with us.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Body surfing.
That's
great. What?
If you haven't seen it, just
I've seen it. I can't do it, but I've seen it. So that's good. So bear with me on this. I've got a point here. So as a body surfer, and you've got that background, you got a big defensive lineman coming at you. Can you sort of go back to those skills to get away a little bit, get away from the rush?
Not really. You just gotta go with the wave, and once it breaks, you got to brace yourself.
I like that.
I mean, that's kind of what I do when I see a defensive lineman. If I don't have a chance to make a move on him, just embrace it.
Go with the way.
Just go with it.
That's
tuck and roll.
That's
really
good. All right, back to football, away from surfing a little bit. For you guys, it seemed like you really came out with a really good attitude when you went back to work this week. Mm-hmm. Despite the loss, what would you say is the pulse of the team this week?
Energetic, a lot of enthusiasm. Coach Rhule really challenged us this week by by the leadership of the seniors. You know, how can we respond off of a tough loss? We just got outworked on Saturday, and we have to embrace it. You know, it is what it is. We can't go back and erase it. You know, the only thing we can do is respond, and that's what we're going to do.
Boy, that's great. I'm encouraged just being around you guys and being around Coach Rhule and Coach Nixon and watching you work. I'm really encouraged. I can't wait till the game coming up on Saturday.
We can't wait either.
I bet. All right. Well, you're very kind to be here this evening. Appreciate it, and good luck on Saturday, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
All right. Glad you're here at Baylor. Appreciate it very much. Jarrett Pakello. Kahanu Olala Gola Kalani. With a couple of extra syllables in there. Solomon, Baylor quarterback Anu Solomon. Take a break and look ahead. Our calendar of events coming up. Stay with us. We'll be back and wrap things up right after this. Back our final segment tonight as we wrap things up on the Baylor Coaches Show. Do appreciate everyone being here this evening. Let's take a look at our upcoming schedule of BU events. There's only one home event all week, and that is the football game against UT San Antonio. And they prefer to be UTSA. They say in their notes, not UT San Antonio. So UTSA Roadrunners, it comes up Saturday evening, 7 o'clock, kickoff at McLean Stadium. We're on the air on the radio at 5 p.m. with the Baylor Alumni Network tailgate show, and then a 7 o'clock kickoff, first meeting ever between Baylor and UTSA. The March of the Bears will be about 4:30 on Saturday afternoon, so come be a part of that. The Bear Walk, where the team leaves the hotel, unloads the buses in Touchdown Alley, and then Bear Walk through a cheering throng of Baylor fans right into the stadium. That'll be about 4:30 on Saturday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We will recognize the partnership between Baylor University and Baylor Athletics and the United Way during the game, and also the Southwest Conference Hall of Fame inductees, and there are 15 of those from Baylor. The induction ceremony on Friday at noon, and they will be recognized during the game as well. And that includes our own Ricky Thompson, who will be on the sidelines for us. So a great class, and congratulations to each and every one of them. Here's the remaining schedule. Other events going on this week besides Baylor UTSA football. Baylor volleyball is competing in a tournament in Honolulu, Hawaii. Speaking of Hawaii, they play Hawaii on Friday evening. Then they'll play BYU on Saturday afternoon. Baylor soccer is in Portland, Oregon for a tournament there. They'll play Portland on Friday and the University of Washington on Sunday. And then volleyball wraps up with that match against BYU on Saturday. Men's golf at the Gopher Invitational in Independence, Minnesota. That is Sunday and Monday. And then next Wednesday, before we have our next show, but next Wednesday, Baylor Volleyball is home hosting LSU, 7 p.m. in the Farrell Center for Baylor Volleyball versus LSU. So that's the upcoming schedule of events in Baylor Athletics. Hey, we appreciate you being with us tonight. Thank you all for being here. It's really nice, and hope you enjoyed hearing from Coach Jeff Nixon, our co-offensive coordinator and running backs coach, and also our quarterback, Anu Solomon. I'm going to keep working on that. Nick, thank you very much. Nick Rodriguez, and Rudy's our host. We appreciate you being with us. For now, thanks for listening and watching, and good night from Rudy's.